Hi guys, welcome back. This is Alpha Omega occasionally. On this occasion, I'm talking about living the dream. And that's either as a statement or as a question, living the dream. Because I've received a few comments over the last few days or weeks of guys imparting that to me, that I'm living the dream. More so to do with my other channel, The Big Picture El Panorama, in terms of meeting these beautiful girls every night of the week. And it is like a dream, I suppose. I'm 60 years old and I can still hack it, if you want to put it that way. But as regards living the dream, people talk about this. I see other fellas on YouTube talking about living the dream in Thailand. It is. If faraway hills are greener. And before I moved to Thailand, I had this impression of what it would be like, and it's not a million miles away from what I had, imagined. But the dream is there, but the reality, as we all know, can be something completely different. Look at me. It's a Friday. It's a Friday morning. It's 5 to 12. I'm feeling good because it's Friday. I'm not feeling 100% good. This is where the dream isn't always a dream. Today, my wife has gone away for a night with her work colleagues, and you might say, hang on a second, that sounds like a bit of a dream. She's gone away while the cat's away, you know yourself. But you see, I have to look after my son. I'm 60 years old, and I have to look after my son, who's age 6. So I have to collect him from school, and I have to stay with him, entertain him for the rest of the day, and I won't be able to do that tonight because I'll have to take care of my son. But that's not so much of a burden. That's a pleasure. But when we're talking about living the dream in Thailand, what fellas think of living the dream in Thailand is obviously the good weather, obviously some people say the food. I said it before and I'll say it again. Thai food is okay, but it's overrated as far as I'm concerned, completely overrated. I've said it before, give me a burrito or a taco any day. But I'm not talking about Thai food in this. But the reality of living here can be, it can be quite mundane. You live your life like you live anywhere. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Australia, and he said it's very similar to living back home in Ireland. Okay, the environment is different, but your day-to-day, as I said it earlier on, I have to collect my son from school, and I have an obligation and a responsibility. I have the same obligations and responsibilities that I would have had or had at home. And, that's not so much of a dream. It's more of a reality. But I will say this, that I know this is kind of cliched. A bad day in Bangkok beats a good day in Dublin. And I suppose you think that's baloney. Well, it kind of is a baloney thing to say. How can you say that a bad day in Bangkok beats a good day in Dublin? A good day in Dublin is fantastic. Let's talk about the weather. I mean, the weather-wise, a bad day in Bangkok is 100 times better than a good day in Dublin. I mean, this isn't a fantastic day. It's not, the sun isn't splitting the stones, but we're still over 32 degrees Celsius. When's the last time it was 32 degrees Celsius in Dublin? Anyway, I don't think it ever was. But the realities of being here are sobering. They really are sobering. You worry about the same things. You worry about your future. I'm 60 years old. What am I going to be doing in 5 years from now? Will I be able to make a living from YouTube? Will I be able to make a living from my other revenue source, which is online teaching? You've still got to get up and do it. I'm not one of those lucky ones that has a pension coming in from abroad. I hope to have in the future, but that's not for a good few years yet. So I have to keep myself going. So I still have the same anxieties almost. Yeah, not almost, but yeah, I still have the same anxieties as I had when I was living at home. Probably more so because I'm living in a foreign country. I'm at this moment waiting for my visa to be approved because in Thailand you have to renew your visa every year. So I put it in 10 days ago. they say it'll be ready, but, well, there will be a result in about 2 weeks from now. But it's always in the back of your mind, that degree of uncertainty. And that's one of the things, when people say you're living the dream, I have a huge amount, of uncertainty. I have a huge amount of alienation. I feel alienated. I said all these things before. But you see, I tell you what, I used to live in the Middle East. I used to live in Dubai. And talk about living the dream. I had a great job. I worked in advertising. The company paid for the apartment. The company paid for my car. I was much younger. I was 43 at the time. And I was living with 4 other guys. And it was just a palatial place to live. And we played the field and had a great time. I had no fear. Basically, I wasn't living there I lived there for a year. But I didn't think I was going to live there full time. So that year was a more dreamlike state than here. I used to go to bed at night saying, I'm living in a movie. It felt like I was living in a movie, because I had a job that looked after the apartment. I had a car that was the job provided, and I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't have to pay health insurance. I didn't have to worry. So the reality of that scenario was a lot sweeter than the reality of living the dream, let's say, in Thailand. You see, a lot of guys talk about, I'm not going to mention other YouTubers, I rarely do, if ever, especially if they're based in Thailand. I'll just leave them off. But other YouTubers, I've seen them, they're talking about, oh, it's wonderful, look at me, I'm drinking a pina colada or whatever it is, I'm on the beach and this is this and this is that and it's all great. It's not all great, but it is very, very good. It suits me down to the ground to be standing here in the middle of October and all the leaves are still on the trees, as they always are, because we're in the tropics. We don't get seasons. Well, you might say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. What about the rainy season? It's not a seasonal change like change in temperatures. And this is one of the things that I would say is almost dreamlike. You wake up in a place like this and you go, thank God I'm here. So weather-wise, it's dreamlike, but that's reality. But the reality of your day-to-day living is not dreamlike. You still have the same, I said, anxieties and responsibilities and blah, blah, blah. Maybe you're different than me. Maybe you're on a retirement visa and you live in Pattaya and you live on your own and you can afford to go drinking 3 or 4 nights a week and get lots of ladies and enjoy all those things. But for me, that's not an existence that I could maintain, even if I had the finances to be able to facilitate that. I don't think, I know for sure I couldn't maintain that. I go off me head. So I prefer the regimental style of living as part of a Thai family, even though I get on and I give out about it frequently. But that's part of my tonic. It's part of my self-expression to be able to express to you guys on YouTube how I feel. So I'll tell you how I feel about living the dream in Thailand. In some aspects, it is dreamlike. When I go down to the market and interview those girls on any given night, I have a couple of Leo and I'm feeling fine. That's dreamlike. But when I wake up on Monday morning and I have to drive my son to school and I have to do teaching online, that's not dreamlike. So there you go. Maybe Thailand is a place that you could have a different kind of life to me, that you don't have to work. As I said, you're on your retirement visa or something like that, and you'll have a completely different experience. Maybe you are living the dream in Thailand. Whatever you're doing in Thailand or whatever you're doing elsewhere, and you're having you wouldn't be watching this video, I suppose, unless you weren't interested in Thailand. Let me know what your living the dream scenario would be like or is like. I'd be very interested to know. But guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being there. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you click that like button, that share button, subscribe button. Do all those wonderful things. And I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.